In this video, I will share you my journey of becoming a machine learning engineer. I'll tell you how I went from this to this. I'll show you which challenges I faced, how I struggled on the job interviews, but eventually ended up getting what I believe is the best job in the world. And if you watch this video till the end, I will show you how to get on track in studying machine learning and becoming better in this field. I hope that my experience will encourage future machine learning engineers. When I started working in data science, I had about 10 years of experience, but it didn't help me much. Actually, what I realized, thanks to these 10 years, is that I love working with data. Sometimes, no one called it data science back then, but we used to call it data mining. We were working with credit fraud data. We were analyzing performance of individual loan granting officers, whether they were any concentrations or fluctuation or any specific patterns in their behavior. And the results were pretty impressive because at one point we discovered a credit loan granting scheme that consisted of many loans, where some of the loans were used to repay previous loans. So that's why the whole portfolio was performing outstandingly well. It was performing so well that the loan officer who was in charge of the schema was actually called an employee of the month several times. Another example, we analyzed how traffic dropped in Paris region during a flooding period. And this data we used to calculate how many backup workstations do we need and where to place them. This is actually where I started using Coursera and DataCamp, which I believe are a very solid platform to start with if you are new to this field. The problem was that the simple Excel was not enough for us to get the insights and to present those insights to the stakeholders. In fact, data is everywhere, and if you know how to quickly collect, combine and analyze your data, you can collect all the low-hanging fruits around you and show very impressive results. As I said, by the time I decided to turn to the dark side of the force and start working in machine learning, I had a senior position. However, in DS or ML world, I was completely newbie. So the job search took me about a year, where I went to a dozen of interviews where I felt completely miserable. I didn't know even half of the things people were asking me about. People who interviewed me, they seemed like real guru to me, because they had a practical idea about the things that they were asking, and they were asking about their all the day features. They were asking me about everything that they faced on day-to-day life, and it was so easy. It seemed so easy for them, but I struggled even with the simplest questions. And they were asking me these questions, and I just mumbled something incorrect, and they rejected me. One of the teams who rejected me, they were doing multinomial classification, which was completely new to me, because for me, classification was when you classify items into two groups: yes or no, survived, not survived. However, what they were doing, they were putting clients into multiple buckets, depending on their risk level. And of course, after the interview, they rejected me because I did not know what is a multinomial logistic regression. By the way, this is not a very difficult topic, so if you're interested, let me know in the comments. I'll do a separate video on that. 3 months later, I saw that the same team was hiring again, and I decided that if I could not impress them with the quality of what I know, I can impress them with the quality of how fast I can learn and how well I can tell them the stories. I quickly created a simple model that was predicting quality of wine depending on its chemical structure. How many alcohol, how much alcohol, how much sugar, how much sulfites, etc. In France, wine quality is very important. Question of quality du vin, and you know, blah, 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 blah. Actually, the model was very average, but I made a presentation by showing which data I used, how I built the model, which results I achieved, and what were the weak points and strong points of the models, and how this model could be potentially improved in the future. In this second interview, I was not asked even a single question about the model. Everyone was very impressed by the difference of what they saw during the first interview and the second one. Or maybe they wanted to get my model as soon as possible. They said they wanted to talk to other candidates and will come back to me in a week or something. I was pretty much disappointed because I thought I failed again. However, to my great joy, the next day they called me and told me that I got this job. Two things I always tell to my colleagues. First, even an average model with good communication will outperform the most complex and the most sophisticated model, where the model creator cannot clearly explain and communicate what this model is doing and why is it working. Second thing is that I've reached the level where I hire people myself, and very often I see people who came to this field just because they say that you can get some decent money here. However, if your eyes don't shine, you don't progress. That's why I always pay special attention to people who who are trying to switch their career when hiring them, because from what I have observed, very often these people come there, they have good soft skills, but they lack some technical expertise, which means that with proper guidance, they will progress at an enormous pace, and over 6 months or 1 year, they will outperform you with the task that you thought you are good at. My tips for success. First, strengthen your fundamental skills in statistics, math, and probability. Personally, for me, a statistics and data science program from MIT was a huge help. I would definitely recommend it to anyone new in the field. Second, start working on a specific project. Think of any idea that you might have that you want to implement and start implementing it. Third, next is keep consistent effort. There are a lot of people who have learned something about machine learning. However, there are much fewer people who understand how it works and how to apply it in the real life. Next is practice first. In the interviews, you can quickly understand whether the answers that the candidate is giving you are just the answers that he'd learned from YouTube, or he really faced those issues and he really understands how to handle and how to address different things. Take as a fact that the data will be messy and noisy. In most of the things that you learn when taking courses, the data is specially prepared for you, and there is a conventional solution to how this task should be addressed. However, in the real life, because of the noise or because of the imperfection of the data, it will not be like this. This is absolutely normal. This is a part of the job. Over the time, you will learn how to address those issues by keeping your curiosity level high enough. Next, accept the fact that the data will never be perfect. It will always be messy and noisy. But an imperfect solution is always better than a non-solution, which means that if you have a solution which could be improved, your more experienced colleagues will guide you through this, especially at the more junior roles. So just keep on working and iteratively improving your solution. And the last one is the most important takeaway for me to transition to machine learning engineer role, is understanding that any solution that we make as data scientists or machine learning engineers are actually part of the IT. We are writing programs. The only difference with classical IT programs is that part of these programs have not been explicitly written by you, but got trained based on the data that you have. However, it still remains a program that has to be deployed. So if you want to succeed in machine learning and ML engineering role, you will have to invest some time into software engineering skills, because there are two types of models, and the ones that are in productions are the programs in production. So all the laws, all the procedures, and all the good practices and all the bad practices as well are applicable in this field. You will be amazed by how much you can improve if you start applying them. Following those 6 tips, you will make it. So if you found this video interesting or helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. See you soon.